Hello, welcome to Actual Play, a brand new show, The Twilight Throne and the Houses of Ruin, created by Ray, who's right there. It's an amazing new Forged in the Dark game. I won't say too much about it because I want Ray to say more about it. But I'm Sean Nittner. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Sean Nittner. As usual, all proceeds to the channel are split between the Trans Legal Defense and Education Fund and Black Lives Matter. So if you give us money, that's where it goes, all of it. So you should do that. You should click the likes and subscribes and the cheers and the buttons and the things, or you could just use your money to go do good things too. That's all right also. We like all these options. Anyway, I'm super excited to play this game, and I'm super excited to be playing with some new folks like Connie. How are you doing?
Ooh, hi, Sean. Ooh, thanks for the warm welcome. Hi, everyone. Super excited to be here. I'm Connie Chong. My pronouns are they, he, and she. I'm just going to read out my little blurb that's in the chat that you can see here. But for those who aren't in the chat, I am a trans 1.5 generation Chinese American game master as well as game designer. I'm really interested in telling stories about dark fantasy, queer tragedy, and hope. You can follow me on all the social medias at by Connie Chong. That's ByConniechang. That's Twitter. That's TikTok. I've got an itch. And you can also toss a coin to your Connie on Ko-Fi at by Connie Chong as well. And follow my latest game project, which is... I'm sorry, I feel like I'm continuing on when y'all are losing it.
That's amazing.
Girl, I was just trying to drink and then I gave up.
Sorry
It was
about that.
too good. Too good.
I'll just round off my intro by plugging God Killer RPG, which Ray knows I've been working on for the longest time, but it's actually in closed development. It's Ashcat is in closed development. I get to tell more about it on my birthday, which is in 5 days. But track its development at God Killer RPG on Twitter. It is a holy punk TTRPG for one player, the God Killer, and one GM God. So if that's interesting to you, go to God Killer RPG on Twitter, and I'm going to pass things expeditiously along to Misha underneath me.
Hi, Misha B. I use she, they pronouns. I am a designer, a mom, a GM, a sensitivity reader, an editor, all the fun things for RPGs when I'm not doing incredibly complicated costuming things for no real good reason other than, hey, this looks like a fun idea and I want to try if I can do it. So yeah, that's me. How about you, Ray?
Hi, I'm Ray. My pronouns are they, he. I'm so happy to be here. And so you can find me on Twitter at Temporal Hiccup, where I like to talk about the games I'm working on, which like every game designer is at least 12, right? Like on different burners. And the Twilight Throne, I'm really excited about this one because I've been working on this for the past, I want to say like a little more than a year, almost getting towards a year and a half. So yeah, I feel like this is the point where I should talk about what the game is, right? So the Twilight Throne and the Houses of Ruin is a Forged in the Dark game, and it is a political intrigue game, specifically from a post-colonial perspective, right? Because I'm a designer from the Philippines. And so that means that the politics are very like intimate. They're related to family or clan or houses, depending on how we want to interpret these things. And so it's less like stabby and more tragique, more wuxia, right? Like those are the vibes, more Pan's Labyrinth. I also will say that while working on this game, people kept telling me how much it felt like Dark Souls, and I had never played the games, right? But I started watching the lore videos, and I was like, I felt like we were drawing from the same ether or something. Like there are stone dragons and corpses in this game, which is a thing in Dark Souls. And I was like, what? Anyway, so, and I'm really excited about playtesting the Throne of Annihilation, because the Twilight Throne comes with 4 thrones. Each throne tells an arc of a story that we follow. And so the Throne of Annihilation is when I just gave up and went all in the Dark Souls vibe. So we are here for the tragedy, right? Basically. And also, yeah, I think that's like a good enough.
I think that's great. I remember when you very first started on this, Ray, and I was like, oh my God, that sounds so cool. I want to play it. And I'm so delighted that we're now at a place where we get to do that. So,
I did create some things that were specifically with you in mind, Sean. So I'm very, very excited.
Well, tell me if I don't catch them, just to be like, Sean, you need to do this, because I am here for
I will already tell you because one of the fun changes is instead of gear, in this game you have like personal advantages, and one of those personal advantages is a dazzling costume change, and you inspired it because you kept doing that in our Court of Blades game.
Thank you. Thank
So,
you.
but I'll point out all the rest. I'll point out all the rest when it happens. Okay, so basically, we are in fact playing the Throne of Annihilation. So before we make, oh, you know what? Before we get into that stuff, super important, I'm going to discuss our safety tools. We are using a combination of lines and veils, meaning whatever is behind a hard line won't show up in the game at all. Whatever is behind a veil will just like allude to it. It'll happen off screen, or we won't go into too much detail. There's also, I'm not going to show it on screen, but the players can see, we also have a not for me where you're like okay with it being in the game, but you don't want it to like interact with your PC, right? So whatever those things are. And then we also have an ask first where you're okay with showing these things showing up, but you want to check in first, right? Like maybe a little bit of a warning to see if it feels cool or appropriate in the moment. And so while everyone is clicking through their lines and veils, I will also introduce the other safety tools. We also have a romance section where, because unless someone warns me, my NPCs have a tendency to flirt a lot. So, but we're going to put that down, how you feel about romance from PCs and NPCs, right? Because your comfort matters a lot to me. And we also have script change where we can stop in. So we can pause to check in if you want to ask questions, such as when we're using our lines and veils. We have stop if we want to take a break. We do have one break planned. If you need to take another, please feel free to do so, right? You can just type stop in the private chat we have, or just say it out loud, whatever feels better for you. And then we also have fast forward if we're going to say things like, my character is going to be a real jerk and I don't want to go over it step by step. So can we just fast forward and just know that they were a jerk? And then that's totally fine. Because we're playing very powerful nobles, there's a tendency that might happen a little bit, just a little bit. So
I remember a time when we were playing, Judd said like, "Oh, this blue coat says like it's time to go to the Iron Hook for you," and he pats you on the back. And that's the nicest thing that happens to you for the next 3 months. And you leave, and it was just like, well, that was the only humane thing that happens to you in the next 3 months. And it's just like cut to the end. And I love that idea of fast forwarding through the stuff that we know happens, but we don't want to play out.
We don't want to go into
imagination.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And then the last thing, which I also love, is rewind, where if we want to go back to something that happened, even if it was several sessions ago, and then just want to retcon or change anything, we can totally do that, right? We all have an amazing imagination. We can always rework things, right? Nothing is set in stone, basically. And the last safety tool is we have an open door policy. If you need to step away for whatever reason, if you need to leave the game for whatever reason, please feel free to do so. I really don't want you to feel like you have to explain or ask for permission or any of those things. What's most important is we take care of ourselves, right? So basically those are safety tools. I will be reviewing the lines and veils. I will keep them in mind. This is a living document. I'll keep referring to it as we play, of course. And okay. So from safety, now we're going to talk about our throne. Okay, so this is a very dramatic throne. I will say it shares a lot in common with Apocalypse Keys, as I was dramatic music intensifies.
You said dramatic, sorry.
Yeah, so we had to. I will go ahead and just read the description of the Throne of Annihilation. Oh, should I share that on screen? I realize.
I'll put it up, yeah.
Oh yeah, you are so awesome, Sean.
I don't know how visible it is. We'll try.
Yeah. Even if it's not, just so people know I'm not making it up. Does that make sense? This game is real, I promise. Okay, so.
But you are making it up. You're a designer. That's what you do. You make them up.
That's true. Sometimes I feel like the game is making me breaking me across its back or something, across its neck. But yeah. Okay, so the Throne of Annihilation is the curse of the land. Oh, I do want to briefly go into it. So basically, the setting that we are in is this is like a dark fairy tale, right? So basically, all of us were like creatures of magic, right? Of fairy tales, but the invaders came long ago, right? And they took our magic, they took what they wanted from the land. And after centuries of that, they just left. And so the they corrupted our power and our magic. And so now there are these curses that are intertwined with that magic and power. They're no longer separated, right? So these are all my post-colonial feelings in the game, basically. All right, so I just felt like I should mention that. So the curse of the land in this particular story manifests as apocalypse, the desire to burn bright and hot in the last days of all things, to freeze the heart to stone to such unbearable horror. So the nobles in general, right, have denied the inevitability for generations now. Any hope to save the land and its magic is long dead. One by one, the houses will fall, and in their wake is only devastation and the weak fighting over scraps of magic. But that will not be you, my dear friends. You will embrace tragedy, hastening the end of all things, and claim what power you can. Whoever sits on the throne, we will get to decide that together, wishes to see you all burn incandescent in the cold emptiness of nothing, leaving behind a wretched legacy. So, can you face the end of all things and craft a tragedy that suits your fatalist desire? Or will you fall prey to your grandiose illusions and lose it all? So, in this game, we're sort of playing with the idea there's a clock of ruin that's going to shift forward. There are several endings that we can choose. This is very Dark Souls. I really leaned into it. Depending on how we hasten the apocalypse and decide to do it. But basically, what we're trying to do as nobles is create the epilogue that you want for your character, create the ending that you want. But it's very tricky. If the clock fills and strikes its end before we manage to finish, we get the worst possible ending, the cursed ending, where we get to like have more tragedy, but it's not on our terms, right? So hopefully it's still a fun time. So basically the three possible endings are let's see. Basically, we have the Twilight ending, the Ashes ending, and the Cursed ending. And the Twilight ending, well, I'll get into more detail. I'm skipping ahead because I got a little excited. So what we're going to do first is we're going to decide who sits on the throne of annihilation. And I have some stuff for you in a handy dandy pick list. And it's up to us to like fill out the details on who they are. So the first option is Darkest Before the Dawn, the first Dreamwalker. Or The Forbidden Poem, the Wounded Warrior Poet. Or True Nightmare's Kiss, Hero of the Verdant Wall, and Mutakad, The Last Forgiveness. So they're all super dramatic names, and it's up to us what those names mean and who they are. But this is an NPC we're going to interact with a lot, right? Like they sit on the throne. They know the apocalypse is coming. We have a very intimate relationship with them, right? And they're granting us power and they're helping us. So this is an NPC we're going to interact with a lot. Yeah, so I want to ask Misha, is there someone that you're drawn to?
All of them?
They're all very sexy.
Yeah, right? I think I'm going to go with Mutakad, The Last Forgiveness, I think is the one that leads me most.
Yeah. Cool. How does everyone else feel about that?
I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Ray, the thing about your games is I can't pick from your pick lists.
Right.
That's like something you need to make like 3 of them bad and 1 of them good. I think that's my
right.
approach.
Either that or a dice roller. Yeah, it's like pick one of the 4.
Yeah, they're so good.
Amazing. Thank you. And then so next, oh yeah, go ahead.
Technical thing. I'm trying to select them, but then they're becoming unselected.
Probably because I had the drop down selected.
Okay, got it. Okay, there we go. I was like, what is? Makes sense.
My bad.
No, all good.
Yeah. No worries.
I was like, who's fighting me? The rivalry begins already, Misha.
early on.
You this time, Nitna.
But yeah, and then so the next question is, who are the heralds of the apocalypse? It took all of my willpower to not call them harbingers. I'm gonna say that right now.
I mean, you can tie your games together however you like, right?
I was thinking that, right? Like they're all far. No,
The
it was just
RCU, the Ray Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
I'm into it.
Build it. No, seriously, Connie is right. Build it because
Build it.
people, yeah, make your cinematic.
Oh my gosh. They were literally just harbingers yesterday. I just renamed them all to heralds last night. So
Name it back. Flip it back.
okay, are we gonna do
Okay,
it? Are we gonna do it? Okay, I'm just gonna call them harbingers, and I'll change everything on the side later. Okay, so who are the harbingers of the apocalypse? These are people we're going to interact with, maybe antagonistic in an antagonistic fashion, but knowing our players and myself, it may be an intimate love-hate relationship situation going on. But basically, the harbingers want to bring about the apocalypse as quickly as possible, right? And we don't want that quite yet, right? Because we want the world to end on our terms. So the possibilities are cursed archivists wielding corrupted wisdom, the Kraken's beloved, chaos mages fueled by despair, humans newly awakened to stolen powers, and dragons sleeping in souls touched by tragedy, dreaming new forms. So just for context, we are not humans, right? We're nobles, so we have always had power. But humans are like the lowly, like servants and stuff that we draw upon that still have fresh souls that we can use to power magic if we like, or however else. So, but if we choose the human option, that means some of them have gotten access to powers that they normally shouldn't have. But yeah, so I want to ask Connie, is there one that you're drawn to, that you're really excited by?
Listen, you can't show me humans. Give me a little spiel about how they've risen up under the yoke of our oppression and have me not pick that one.
I know. I
was
may have...
listen, listen, Ray. It's either that one for me or the chaos mages fueled by despair, because that feels like a really interesting theme to touch upon in the wake of apocalypse, and also with our ruler, the last forgiveness. Those are the but I'm also really into humans.
Yeah. Do you want us to smoosh those two ideas together? The Kraken's beloved, who are
What about like humans who have gotten access to chaos magic fueled by despair? That was like my thought. Like
absolutely. Yeah. We are definitely going to do that. So stolen powers, chaos magic fueled by despair. We're just smashing those two together. Perfect. Okay.
Nice.
Yes. All right. And then so what tragedy is promised? This is sort of like us coloring in what is the apocalypse that awaits us all, right? Which will help me as a GM, like sort of like draw upon this as we play the game. So our options are, as the magic fades, it will corrupt all things touched by it. Or as the land decays, creatures of pestilence will stalk the powerful. Or fate comes undone, ensuring only the paths leading to despair come to pass. Or humans touched by the promise of annihilation will survive the apocalypse, ensuring the nobles pay for all that they've done. So, Sean, which one are you drawn to?
So, okay. So the first one got me initially because I was like, I like the idea that all these people are vying for magic and it's ultimately going to corrupt you. And so you have this like impossible choice of like, well, do you want to have temporal power now and maybe not die or have other things, like have things work out for you with the knowledge that there's a horrible cost in the end. And so it's like you kind of lose no matter what. Like you either suffer now or suffer later or suffer both. I mean, it's awful. But then you give me humans touched by the promise of annihilation will survive the apocalypse, ensuring nobles will pay for all they have done. And I'm like, come on, Ray. Like, how do I not? Especially since we have these humans newly awakened. Like,
yeah, it's a nice combo.
Are they the ones who will survive? Or
those little brats. Does that mean they're using their magic just to kill us so they can make a new egalitarian world? Not on my watch.
I feel like we're the primordials and they're the gods, or
Yeah.
So the Titans, they're the gods. We're the gods, they're the humans.
Yeah, so there we go.
Nice.
I think it's gotta be that. I think it's gotta be the humans. Like, And
Yeah.
I can so see us like, oh, look at those adorable humans, let their little chaos magic, and like wanting to foster them and help them grow because we know we're doomed. I don't know. I can see lots of ways in which, even though they're antagonistic to us and we know they're our doom, we still like want to help them in some ways. I don't know. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Especially like if one of us falls in love with one of them. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
should never happen, but you know.
Oh, that's guaranteed. I'm like coming into this being like, listen, this is a dating sim. Like, which horrible NPC can I date?
That's it, Ray. Why have next game to throw on
It's
your
a dating
monsters? It's a dating sim because most of your games
Right.
already.
Yes, it's true. But yeah. Oh, the things that have happened in the playtest for the Twilight Throne so far. But yeah, okay. So that's our throne. And basically, I will come back to some of the other bits. Ooh. Yeah, I think I want to come back to throne abilities once we've made our characters, because then you might have a better idea of which throne ability
makes
you
sense.
want to
Yeah, sounds
get.
good.
Okay, so from this point, so the next juicy thing that we get to do is each of you gets to choose a house that your character comes from, right? So there are 7 houses to choose from. I think we can take turns reading them out loud if people are cool with that. If you don't want to read anything out loud, just say like pass. Totally fine. This is just my teacher mode activating because I don't want to talk too much. But yeah, so each of these houses, these are like the remaining houses in power, right? So there used to be a lot more before this, but now only these 7 remain. And each of them are connected to an integral, magical, fairy tale like thing, but they've been cursed in some fashion, right? So for example, the House of Blood and Bone, they're still the custodians of reincarnation, but they themselves can never reincarnate. Like now they're all undead, basically. So each of them have like a thing that's going on, right? Like a very overly dramatic, Ray is such an overwrought designer kind of situation. But yeah, so could I have Sean, could you read the House of Blood and Bone? Just a description.
Of
Yeah.
course. Once we were the guardians of life and rebirth, karmic custodians of reincarnation. The gates of life have been closed off from us forever, and our power resides in the cursed spaces of the dead and the undying. We are putrid flesh and splintered bone, blood-dried black and crowns made of flesh. We are the lingering malaise of undeath, forced to be the sentinels of a passage denied to us. Through power and curse, we command and serve the undying. Felt like we needed a gravelly voice for that one.
Oh yeah, definitely. For sure. Yeah, and Connie, if you could read the Houses of Vine and Root for me, please.
Heck yeah. Once our forests and cities covered the land, now we are burned ash and twisted vine. The earth is full of terrible secrets and shattered dreams. Our power resides in the cursed spaces of illusion and fantasy. We are bloodied root and rotting bark, a twisted fey court and crowns made of thorns. We are the wail of a corrupted land forced to wield glamour and take bargains that could destroy us. Through power and curse, we command and serve the fey. Ooh,
Perfection. They're very sexy. Yeah. And you can also take a look at the abilities later to see if they're a vibe you like. But yeah, Misha, if you could please read the House of Cog and Gear for me.
Once our factories and machines powered the land. Now we are rusted metal and crumbling structures. We rebuild ourselves in vain to come close to the perfection we once were. Our power resides in the cursed spaces of creation and genius. We are a dulled black brass and hissing steam, a facsimile of life and crowns made of gear. We are the screech of industry, forced to bend and break both mind and body. Through power and curse, we command and serve the machines.
Basically, this was what if capitalism was a house,
right?
Ooh.
Thank you. But like with cool cogs and tech gears to make it
Industrialism a little bit, right?
But yeah, I will read the House of Sword and Halo, which I wrote for Connie. Actually, I had Connie in mind when I was writing this house and stuff. So But yeah, so let me read it. Basically, once we stood together as the army of heaven, reigning through righteous fury and divine benevolence. Now our gods are dead, killed by our own blades. Our power resides in the cursed spaces between violence and divinity. We are broken wings and cracked halos, a burning fire that will never die, and crowns made of light. We are the war cry of the blessed, forced to serve absent gods. Through power and curse, we command heaven. But yeah.
Oof, I love that. I
I
also
can't
love
not
the
play
notion.
this house.
Yeah, I also
I
love
don't
the
want to. I
notion
don't want
of
to pressure you, but yeah, like I made all of this for you, Connie. I made all of this drama for
Oh.
you, so you can't pick a wrong one. But I was thinking about your God Killer game.
Listen,
When
it's perfect. Oh my god, I
Yeah,
love this house.
right. This is product research. If you play this house, Connie. Like
Yeah.
you're doing.
Listen,
This is game development for you.
it is. It is. It is.
but yeah. And then Sean, if you could read The House of Ash and Flame for me, please.
Once all of this was a game, and our plays are paid for in souls. Now there's no soul left untouched by corruption. Our amusements are hollow and distracted fleeting. Our power resides in the cursed spaces between blood and desire. We are twisted horns and cracked jewels, a purgatory of our own making, and crowns made of ash. We're the devil's bargain made in foolishness, forced to betray and be betrayed. Through power and curse, we command and serve hell.
But yeah, so I definitely made House of Ash and Flame and House and Sword and Halo to have this situation.
Yeah. I feel very much the like I kind of feel like if one is taken, the other one sort of has to be as well. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, and then so Connie, could I have you please read The House of Sand and Mist?
Yes, you can. Once we were the wardens of time, chronicler of realities and oracles of the land. Now, our manipulations have weakened the flow of time, and reality now bears the sharpest edges. Our power resides in the cursed spaces between destiny and willpower. We are broken crystals and cruel prophecies, an inescapable future, and crowns made of whispers. We are the last desperate chance, forced to become the pawns of fate. Through power and curse, we command and serve destiny.
Excellent. And last but not least, The House of Glass and Clay. Misha, could you read that for us, please?
Sure. Once we were archivists of the world, reflecting intent and history of a golden time. Now we scavenge discarded identities and forgotten legends, empty and signifying nothing. Our power resides in the cursed spaces between memory and names. We are twisted mirrors and puppets with broken string, fluid forms that hold no substance, and crowns made of glass. We are all that remains of a forgotten history, forced to embody what we can no longer remember. Through power and curse, we command and serve the shapeshifters.
Excellent. Yeah. So each of these houses represent my post-colonial feelings. Yeah.
Gee, I wonder where those come from.
Where did that come from? I really
Why
want
are
to.
your post-colonial feelings so sexy? This is what I have.
Thank you so much. It's my way of having catharsis, right? But yeah, so each of us gets to choose. Well, each of you players gets to choose one house, right? This house will belong to you. You will belong to that house. And as a player, you also get to create a lot of the house with me, right? So there's like I set a playground for you, but it's up to you what that means. So from game to game, it's really cool to see the different House of Vine and Roots or Cogs and Gear, right? Still being very much your own thing. Yeah. So I want to ask, Nisha, is there like a house that like calls out to you?
Several. I'm torn between Ash and Flame, Glass and Clay, and Vine and Root.
Ooh, yeah, very good vibes. Right. Maybe we can check in with other people and then you can see. Right, it might help, right? Like narrow it down. Connie, what were you thinking of?
Listen, Ray, I gotta go Sword and Halo. There's no way I can't. I gotta go. That's what I'm choosing. I have to. There's no other
Oh.
option for me.
You're just like that. That's the only. That's the
That's
choice.
the
yeah.
one. This hole was made for me, Ray. This is my hole.
Oh,
It's a Connie-shaped hole.
Yes. Let
I
me.
love that comic so much.
Yeah.
oh, it's so disturbing.
I love it. I love Ginger Eater so much.
And then Steven
But
Universe
yeah.
copied it or played off of it. It was
Yeah. I realized in my excitement I forgot to say some other things to consider. But I mean, I did my best to design it to align with what the house feels like. So normally you start with 9 skills, right? As a player, as a noble, but you have access to 3 house skills that only your house can do. So for example, the House of Sword and Halo can punish, burn, inspire, versus the House of Ash and Flame that can deceive, possess, and torment, right? And compared to your normal character skills, these are purposely like more wide ranging, like it's easier to apply them. You usually get greater effect, right? Like it's just you have, because you literally have to use house power in order to use it. So we'll get to that in a bit.
nice.
And you also have advantages of the house. Once again, this replaces gear. For most houses, the last one is always an army you have access to. So I just want to point it out. At any point, you can just be like, I have this army. I have this host of angels. It's going to show up and fuck shit up, right? So you can do that at any. I did this so you could like have a good time, right?
And did I mention my freaking army? Yeah.
Right. It's always been so fun seeing it in the plates. I was like, yeah, my army's just right there, and they're gonna storm the other house. Yeah. Anyway, there. So there. Okay, so Connie's super into the House and Soda Halo. I'm so happy to hear that. Sean, how about you?
I'm feeling Blood and Bone very strong. I always have, like, since the day when you very first made it. I was just like, oh, but the undead, and like these are humans that we're watching to take over. So I feel like there's a nice connection there of like they can live on, but we can't. They're our only hope, even though they're our undoing. So that's very sexy to me. It seems like it would be very sad, and that's what I want to do. Cog and Gear also like has a lot of appeal to it. That like, what if capitalism, but noble house. But I think, yeah, I feel like my strong leanings are with Blood and Bone.
Excellent. Yeah, Misha, does that help? Like, we're looking at Blood and Bone and Sword and Halo. How do you?
I think I'm gonna go Glass and Clay.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, we remember the glory we once were, and now we're just kind of a sad reflection of that. Kind of appeals.
Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and hide the other ones just so that we have less stuff to
nice
to look at. So, just so it's a little easier. I can do this.
I know it is not advisable in many storytelling, in many games. But I do wonder if anyone's ever going to run this game with 7 players and have somebody from every house and just like,
oh, so cool. No, but you could have them show up at different sessions, right?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna write that down. Now look at Morg. This is what the playtesting is for. But that would be super, super cool. Okay, so next, what you get to do is you get to like create the NPCs of your house, right? The initial 3 NPCs. So the elder is the one who's in charge of the house, right? And I want to stress, like, these are all just like meant to inspire you and what it could mean. They have very like dramatic roles and names and titles, basically. But you can like fill out the details. We can play to find out. I don't want you to like feel pressured into making a complete NPC on the spot, right? We all know they're going to be hot, so we can just put that in our heads. So the elder is the one who's in charge of the house. The clan, I'm still struggling to find a good name with it, but basically this is your immediate family, right? So someone who's like immediately connected to you. And your confidant is someone who has less power than you, but someone you trust the most in the house, right? Who you confide into. And so the reason why these people are important is later you can make promises to them, making sure that you can do certain things during a scheme to help them, and you gain power in exchange when you make these promises, right? And you get to interact with them in different ways, right? So yeah, I'll let you all choose. I'll just keep talking for people who are watching, but basically, like, people get to like choose and mix and match like the different roles. I purposely did it so that you can mix and match genders as well as you like. But I also appreciate people, you can rewrite any of these things also. So that's super, super cool.
Ray, I have a question. Do you mind repeating what the clan is again in relation to the house?
Oh yeah, sure. So the clan, this is your, I don't have a better name for clan kin. Basically, this is your immediate family member, right? So that's why most of this, like revered mother, then it means like they're your literal mom, right? Yeah. So they're of equal power to you, basically. So the elder is of higher power, the clan member is like equal power, the confidant is lower power to you. This is like the wuxia part, the very Asian family part.
Oh yeah, I dig this.
That was very fun. Just
the roast duelist almost always gets picked. No one can resist
such
the roast.
a good name.
Yeah.
So much fun. But yeah, I want to say like coming up with all of these things for 7 different houses was very difficult because I was like,
oh my God,
I want to use the term curse breaker a lot. I almost came up with the curse breaker 7 different times. There can only be one.
I mean, yeah.
Pick lists are hard.
Pick lists are hard, but making them just makes the world come alive. I mean, this is like just the names are so evocative. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yay. Thank you. And a true Sith master in the chat. Coggin Gear has not paid their dues. That's why they're like evil landlords. They expect other people to pay it. Okay, so all right, how are we feeling about our house NPCs? Are we feeling cool about them? Right? Okay, so if we could have each one introduce, once again, you don't even have to say who they are. You can just read it out, and then that's it. We can play to find out the rest, right? So, yeah. So, Sean, tell me about the people of Blood and Bone.
Awesome. So the notable characters in Blood and Bone are the Obsidian Skeleton, who is the ruler of the underworld. I think all of the House of Blood and Bone have sort of fossilized and in varying degrees, and so we are to some level or another all part sort of obsidian, and the Obsidian Skeleton is complete and therefore the ruler of the underworld, sort of by their nature deems it so. My chosen sister, the commander of the Legion of the Dead. I mean, I just want like a sister who has the army segment. Like, hey sis, can you send your army, please? And also like somebody with lots of responsibilities and whatnot. And I had to choose a child because there's so many thoughts of like rebirth being lost and whatnot. And I feel like the Princeling of the Void was the lost hope. Like, was my child who was supposed to carry, like, was the child that I hoped would carry on the next generation and does not have the spark of life, cannot bear another child, like cannot, that they're the end of the line, and there's no way for them to save things, and like so much hope and faith was put in them, and it's very clear that they cannot. Yeah.
I love how we're starting so hard with the tragedy. Excellent. Very good. Yeah, perfection. So next for the House and Sword and Halo, who are NPCs?
All right. So the elder, the big daddy in charge, is the father mother. Title is the Night Conqueror. I'm really interested in a version of heaven here that's about conquest and war, righteous fury and violence, I think. A very like militaristic approach to it. So I chose the title the Night Conqueror. Also, I like to fuck around with gender, so father mother is their name. The clan, my family member is, I think, a half brother Chalcedonia, the Kingseeker. I see them. I'm always open to play to find out. I'll put these in the notes too, so we don't forget. But I see Chalcedonia, the Kingseeker, as a very ambitious and scheming half brother. Probably someone who's a rival to my character or a threat in some way. Probably father mother's favored
Ooh,
child
of
amongst
course.
all the
Yeah.
childs. That's my hunch. And my confidant, I was really compelled by the first human, especially given how humans are in relation to the rest of this particular adventure. So mentor Loratek, the first human. It was going to be Fiona, but I like the name Loratek better, so I just mixed and mashed between the pick list options. So Loratek, the first human. I'm thinking this is someone that father, mother, and Chalcedonia and the rest of the house are not aware that my character is seeing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I'll make all of these notes so we don't forget.
Perfect. Excellent. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited to play to find out. Yes. Perfect. I also want to say in the NPC tab, I'll transfer the characters later, but there's also a Pinterest board if you want to like attach pictures to your NPCs. I do this because I play in the Gauntlet a lot, and if I don't provide a Pinterest board, like there will be a mob. Like I will get attacked. So, but anyway, okay. Yeah, excellent. And Misha, could you tell me about the house in glass and clay, our nobles there?
Sure. So I learned a new word today. Solipsist. So that's our elder. The first of daggers. I kind of imagine that the first of daggers is a title more than anything. And it's the person at the top. He's basically stabbed and murdered his way to the top. So
nice. Yeah.
For clan, I chose my favorite sister is the Last Whisper. So named because she likes to seal your last breath right before you die.
So good.
And my confidant is my bodyguard, the Rose Duelist, who I imagine kind of looks like she, couldn't do a thing, but like is deadly as hell. So it's
I love that so much.
Yeah, it's kind of that duality of she's just here to help us, and oh my god, there's a knife in her hand. So
I love how dangerous this family is. It is so good.
I mean, you got to scramble to keep your place and make people remember you and stuff, right?
Excellent. I want to say that I also learned the word solipsist because like the first time I played this game, I forgot to do the pick list for the House of Glass and Clay. And so Lowell Francis, he just put together that, and then he put together the solipsist, and I was like, I also learned a new word today. Okay. So amazing.
It's a good word.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a very good word.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing that we do for our house actions is you assign 2 dots to one action and 1 dot to another, right? And then the rest will have 0 dots. So basically just means which starting, like this is you drawing upon the magic of your house and the power of your house. So which one you have an easier time accessing. If you hover your mouse over the skill, there'll be a description of what the action is just to help have a better idea of it. But yeah, also I will say, because as you get the hang of the characters, if you tell me later, Ray, I just want to switch around the dots because this is not doing what I thought it was, totally fine. We're very flexible.
Are we putting the dots under XP or under the 0 out of 8 column?
Oh, here you can like click on the little check mark.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah. They're not called check marks, they're called something else. I just
check boxes.
Check boxes.
Tips?
There we go.
Oh,
yeah. That's right. Excellent. Okay. So far, every time someone has got a House of Sword and Halo, it's been punish, burn. Has been always the
yeah. I mean, inspire.
We could inspire
cool,
someone, but
we could. But why inspire when you could punish?
In my last playtest, we just had an angel who just kept burning things down all the time. I'm gonna burn you metaphorically, burn you physically.
When all you have is a match, everything looks like a pitch.
Exactly.
Listen.
100%. Okay, and then the last thing you get to pick for your house is a house ability. If you want, right, you can just read through them and then choose it later during play. If you want to do like a power move that way, being like, just gonna get this move right before I need it, totally fine. But if you want to pick an ability now, some of them may refer to rules that we haven't gone over yet. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Oh, I need to know what made you laugh.
Oh, these are just so evil.
They are.
I love
They are.
these.
House of Glass and Clay is actually like secretly one of the most evil houses.
I love this.
And I wonder how it was that we stumbled on that.
I have very strong feelings about the way history is written about developing countries.
Oh, that's just evil. Oh, we have to take that one.
Yeah, these abilities are pretty hot, right?
And I also want to say, because I know the Apocalypse Keys moves are chonky, I just want to say I'm capable of writing shorter. Because that has been a point of things as we work at Apocalypse Keys. Don't you understand? Each move is a mini game in Apocalypse Keys. An entire thing goes on. Anyway, but yeah, the abilities are very fun to write here.
So we're taking one of these, not like 6.
Yeah, like
I'm like reading the other houses' moves, and I'm like, damn, what the fuck? Like, wow.
Oh, these are horrible. I love them. With them all.
Yeah, the Sword and Halo is the more like direct, like I'm here.
Yeah, I'm like Call of the Righteous, Guardian's Honor, House of Glass and Clay is like, I've been here all along. It was me. It was me.
But
I'm
also,
wearing someone else's face.
I love you, and we're gonna be intimate, and then I'm gonna steal your face.
I'm gonna steal your freaking face. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, note in playtest may have to rewrite meaner abilities for Sword and Halo. I will work on that.
That's just me. That's just me personally. I'm like,
no, totally fair.
I have had way too much fun summoning the dead in our Godbound game. So let the dead speak. I just want to be able to let all the angels that Connie, your character, has slain come and speak and haunt you as shades. You know, I just want to bring
all the dead gods.
All
too.
the dead gods, exactly. Yeah, just
nice.
want to make sure they have their say.
Perfect. Excellent. Ooh, a Matter of Honor is very fun though.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, I can't. I have to be. I need to literally throw down the gauntlet at least once in this campaign.
So good. And then which one did you end up going with?
I think I'm gonna go with I'll Never Forget You.
Ooh.
Yeah, when I share an intimate moment with someone, you may explore their memories. If you're in a controlled situation, this may take your time, but otherwise you can change a small but significant aspect of their memories for a time. They can temporarily lose access to their memories. I can transfer a copy of their memory to a willing host, or I can shapeshift to look exactly like somebody from that memory.
Oh, yeah. That's so evil. That's so awful.
Yeah, I've seen this in play a few times, and only good things have happened.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure. Each time this move is used. Anyway. Okay, so that is our abilities. Okay, and then do we want to take a short break before we actually make our characters? Like, just because we've been doing a lot of creative stuff. I want to give our brains a bit of a break.
That sounds like a great idea to me.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, so I'm going to throw this up, and we'll do a 5-minute and or so. We'll check in right before we go live. But everybody, you are not hidden. Your mics still work. So if you want to, if you want people to hear you during the break, cool. Mic. Otherwise, mute yourself. Whatever you like. Whatever sounds good. Just wanted to let everyone know. See you all in 5.
See you in 5.